Most people will never be told this directly, not by their manager, not by HR, not by anyone inside the building who benefits from them not knowing it. What you are about to hear is not in any onboarding document, not in any leadership seminar, not in any career coaching session that costs $300 an hour and ends with someone telling you to advocate for yourself and calling it strategy. This is the version they do not teach, the architecture underneath the architecture. The system running beneath the one they showed you on your first day, the one that was always there, always operational, always shaping outcomes for people who understood it and quietly punishing the ones who did not. If you have ever done everything right and still watched the wrong outcome arrive anyway, this video was built for that exact feeling. And if that sentence just landed somewhere real in you, stop. My name is Zara. And I want you to subscribe to Zara versus the Workplace before this video goes any further. Not as a formality, as a decision. Because what this channel does is not available anywhere else. Not in management books, not in HR training, not packaged inside optimism and sold as empowerment. Every single week, this channel goes exactly where this video is about to go, into the raw mechanics most people spend entire careers sensing but never seeing clearly. You will not find this content anywhere else. Subscribe now, then stay with me. Because here is what nobody with real authority over your career will ever say to your face. Power at work has nothing to do with the title. It never did. The title is what they hand you when they want you to stop noticing that you already had it, or when they want someone else to stop noticing that you never will. Inside every workplace, right now, someone without a single direct report is shaping which projects survive. Someone without a management title is the person a senior leader calls before making a decision they cannot undo. Someone who has never been given formal authority is the reason 3 teams are still coordinating instead of collapsing. And that same person is underpaid, overloaded, unprotected, and completely exposed the moment the organization decides it no longer needs what they spent years building. That is not an accident. That is a design. And today, Zara is going to show you exactly how it works. Picture someone, call them Reese. Reese has been in the same organization for 4 years. Not stagnant, genuinely indispensable. When a process breaks, Reese is the first call. When 2 departments stop communicating, Reese is the one who quietly rebuilds the bridge. When a new hire cannot figure out how anything actually works, not how it is described in the onboarding deck, but how it actually works, they find Reese. Reese is not management's favorite. Reese is something more valuable than that. Reese is the person management depends on without fully understanding why. 2 months ago, a restructuring was announced. New leadership, new priorities, a new organizational chart that nobody had seen coming. Reese's name was on the list, not because of performance. The performance was never the question. Reese was on the list because when the new leadership looked at the org chart, they saw a role without authority, without a team, without a title that communicated indispensability. They saw a gap they thought they could close with a junior hire at 60% of the cost. What they could not see was everything Reese had built, because Reese had never made it visible, had never named it, had never attached a language to it that the organization's decision-makers could read. Reese had real power. Informal, load-bearing, consequential power. And it was completely invisible to the people with the authority to protect it. That is the trap. And it has 2 precise mechanisms. Not 7, not 14. 2. But understanding them completely changes how you operate from this point forward. Mechanism number 1. The first mechanism is called illegible labor. Every organization runs 2 simultaneous tracks. The track of actual work, the real decisions made, the real fires prevented, the real coordination that keeps operations from fracturing, and the track of recorded work, the work that exists in performance reviews, in project documentation, in the language of meetings where credit is officially distributed. Most high-performing non-managers live almost entirely on the first track. They are doing the consequential work. They are preventing the disasters nobody ever hears about. They are holding together the informal architecture that the official structure depends on. And almost none of it appears on the second track because they were never taught that the second track exists, or that it is the track that determines what the organization believes about their value. Reese fixed a reporting error 3 weeks before a leadership review that would have flagged a 6-figure discrepancy. Nobody assigned that task. Nobody documented it. Nobody connected Reese's name to the outcome. A senior manager presented clean numbers to the board and received a commendation for financial oversight. Reese received nothing, not because the contribution was not seen, but because it was never made legible. Illegible labor does not disappear. It gets absorbed into someone else's record, into someone else's story, into a commendation for a person who was not in the room when the actual work happened. This is not a question of fairness. It is a question of architecture. Organizations do not reward what they cannot see. They reward what has been made impossible to ignore. The work was real. The record was empty. And an empty record is the only version of you the organization can act on. Here is the precise move. After every significant contribution, not every task, not every email, every significant contribution, Reese sends a single paragraph. No drama, no performance, a factual recap. What happened? What Reese specifically did, what it prevented or produced, and what it means for the next stage of the work. Sent to the right person, filed in the right thread. That paragraph is not communication. It is a record. It is the second track being built in real time by the person who did the work before anyone else can author a version of it. The organization cannot erase what it has already confirmed it received. Mechanism number 2. The second mechanism is called vertical custody. Most non-managers, even the most capable ones, build their entire professional reputation inside one person's perception. Their managers. Sometimes a senior leader who has taken an interest. One person who knows their work, advocates for their work, and holds the institutional memory of their contributions. That feels like support. It is not supported. It is custody. Because the moment that person leaves, restructured out, promoted away, moved to another division, the non-manager's reputation has nowhere to stand. There is no independent record. There is no lateral network of people across the organization who can speak to the work from first-hand experience. There is one advocate, and advocates are not permanent. This is what happened to Reese. The manager who understood Reese's value had moved to a different department 8 months before the restructuring. The new leadership, looking at the org chart, had no one in the room who could translate what Reese actually did into language the new structure could recognize. There was nobody in finance who could say Reese's numbers are always clean. Nobody in operations who could say every handoff Reese manages lands without complications. Nobody in the adjacent team could say, we have worked alongside Reese for 3 years, and the quality is consistent and specific and not easily replaced. Those people existed, but Reese had never deliberately built a relationship with any of them, not out of arrogance, out of the same belief most high performers carry that the work would speak for itself. The work does not speak for itself. People speak for it. And if the only person who spoke for yours just left the building, you are operating without a safety net you did not know you needed. The move is lateral trust. One genuine functional relationship per month, not networking, not LinkedIn connection collecting a real exchange with someone in a different part of the organization whose work intersects with yours. Learn their constraints. Offer something useful without an agenda. Over time, that becomes a web of credibility that no single restructuring can sever. Because it is not held by one person, it is distributed across the organization's actual decision-making landscape. When something goes wrong, and in every organization, something eventually goes wrong, the people in that web speak up for you in rooms you are not in. That is not an influence. That is infrastructure. But the infrastructure you control. Reese had been building the wrong thing for 4 years. Not the wrong skills, not the wrong work ethic, the wrong architecture. All the load-bearing labor was real, the process improvements, the cross-team coordination, the institutional knowledge nobody else had accumulated. Every bit of it was real and consequential. But it was built entirely on the first track. And when the organization needed to make a decision about Reese's future, they went to the second track, the record, the visibility, the network of people who could confirm the work, and found almost nothing. They did not cut Reese because Reese was not valuable. They cut Reese because they could not see the value. And in an organization, invisible value and absent value produce the same outcome. You can be essential and expendable at the same time. That is not a contradiction. That is the oldest workplace trap in existence. Being needed is not the same as being protected. An organization can need you completely and still replace you quietly if your value was never made legible to the people with the authority to act on it. Reese got the call the following Tuesday. And what Reese felt in that moment was not grief exactly, it was recognition. The slow, unwelcome recognition of a system that had been visible all along in the way credit moved, in the way decisions got made, in the way meetings ended differently for some people than for others, but that Reese had chosen not to look at directly, because looking at it directly required accepting that the game was not what Reese had been told it was, and accepting that was expensive. Here is where this ends. Not with a list, not with a framework, not with the assurance that if you apply these two moves, everything will be different. With a question, one Reese will spend a long time sitting with: how much of what you have built at work, genuinely built, with real precision and real consequence, exists only inside your own memory? How much of your actual value lives in a place where the organization cannot read it, cannot confirm it, cannot use it to protect you when the moment arrives? Because the moment always arrives, and it rarely announces itself in advance. You do not need to burn anything down. You do not need to become someone who performs instead of works. You just need to stop building entirely on the first track and start treating the second track with the same precision and deliberateness you have been giving the work itself. Reese knew how to do the work. That was never the question. The question was always whether the work knew how to survive without Reese in the room to explain it. That question belongs to you now. Most people will leave this workplace eventually. Some will leave on their terms, some will leave on the organization's terms. And the difference between those two outcomes almost every time comes down to whether they understood the system they were operating inside before the system made a decision about them. Reese understood it too late. You do not have to. That is the only reason this video exists. Not to inspire, not to reassure, not to make the workplace feel more manageable than it is, but to hand you the version of the map they never posted on the wall, the one that shows you where the real decisions get made, who actually holds the weight, and what it costs when that weight is invisible. You came here looking for something most channels will never give you. That is not a coincidence. My name is Zara. This is Zara versus the workplace, and this channel does not inspire. It does not speak in hustle language. It does not repackage the same career advice that has been circulating for 20 years with a fresh thumbnail and a new voice. It names the actual mechanics, the systems underneath the systems, the things organizations quietly benefit from employees, never understanding clearly. Subscribe. A new video drops every week. Every single one is built exactly like this one. And the next one you will want to be there for.